Good morning to one and all. It's a privilege to welcome Ms. Kanchan, who is an alumni of Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. She holds an honors graduate in commerce and MBA from Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. And currently she works for Deloitte Consulting. It's a privilege to welcome you today. And I'm sure through the talk, you will enlighten our students or avenues for them after they complete their UG. What are their job prospects? How they can plan their career? We're looking forward for an enlightening session from you, Ms. Kanchan. Over to you. We will have a formal introduction by one of our students. Looking forward to the session. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, sister. Ma'am, am I audible? Yes, you're audible to me.
A very good morning to everyone. On behalf of Sri Krishna Swami College for Women, I extend a warm welcome to one and all present here. I find immense pleasure in introducing our guest speaker of the day, Ms. Kanchan Kumar. Welcome, ma'am. She did her undergraduation in BCom and post-graduation in MBA at Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. For past 2 years, she has been working in Deloitte US offices in India as engagement financial advisor. Also, in her busy schedule, she is pursuing a certification in data science and business analytics. I express my gratitude to our principal, Dr. R. Geeta Rani ma'am, our dean, Dr. R. Revati ma'am, our HOD, Dr. P.S. Deepa ma'am, and our department staffs for all their efforts for organizing and planning this online session during this pandemic. And once again, I welcome you all for the wonderful session. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And are the students allowed to put on their videos by any chance? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am. But students
Okay.
cannot switch on the video, ma'am, because it's a YouTube
Okay.
live, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Sure, sure. No problem. No problem. Thank you
Yeah,
for
okay.
confirming.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
So, good morning to one and all, and thank you for having me here today. And I'm looking forward to help you in some way or the another to get a little better clarity of what exactly you could pursue post your graduation and how you could, navigate through these difficult times. We all know what exactly is happening outside, keeping COVID under consideration, and businesses are changing. The way everything works is pretty is evolving basically. So we are going to look at what we can learn from it, how we can cope up with this change, and what exactly we can do in order to stay in the race. Okay, I'm calling it a race because it literally is. But yeah, we need to understand how exactly to cope up. So I'm just going to share my screen without further delay. Sorry. Please let me know when you're able to see my presentation. Can one of you confirm if you can see my presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay, cool, perfect. So I would just like to take a minute to go through the topic for this particular discussion or the talk, whatever we are going to have. It would be good if we could also get inputs from you and you can unmute yourself and ask questions. So there's no issue with either of it. But today we are going to basically look at the businesses that are transforming continuously. What are the major transformations happening throughout the industry and globally? And with those transformations happening, ever happening transformations, what are the opportunities specifically for students, for people like us who are still freshers into this industry? Like there are people with 20, 25 years of work experience, and if we compare, first of all, we can't compare, but if we want to look at ourselves, we need to understand where to start to try to bridge that gap between the expectation that the business is transforming and with where we are right now. How to make ourselves a little sellable, how to make ourselves ready for a job. So that is something that we would be a little deep diving into. So I'll just take you through the flow of this presentation. First, I've already spoken about the topic, so I'll just walk you through the entire content in a very just the gist of it. Then we will be moving to the major business transformations. Now, I wanted to just reinforce that this particular talk is not majorly about the business transformations. So I'll be just walking us through it. But this talk, I would like to focus a little more on the skill sets and what could be the prospective opportunities for all of us, considering there are a lot of people who are specializing, there are a lot of specialization. Not everybody is in a state of undertaking the journey of specialization, certification, and let me be honest that it's very expensive. Some people need to plan it for 3 4 years. They need to have work experience, then finally get ready financially, mentally, and in all the other way that the environment is conducive for them to go ahead with the education or the certification. So uh, how do we really develop those small skills so that we can really try to fit in? Because once we enter we can try to navigate, but what if we don't enter? Then it's going to be a little difficult. So we are going to look at the major business transformations, a gist of it. Then of course I want to talk about the digital transformation. So when I talk about business transformation, the underlying thing happening is of course digital. It can't happen without digital nowadays. So going digital, this particular decision of going digital globally, is it really hampering job opportunities for all of us, for people and everybody? Well, if it is, then what exactly is technological unemployment? So what is happening because of this going digital movement and everything? So after we discuss this technological unemployment as a result of going digital, we would like to dive in a little bit of the future. So now we know that there is a lot of digital or technological unemployment happening. What does the future look like now? Is it depressing or is it still a little hopeful? What exactly is happening? So we would like to take a little bit of look into the future of work. Then we would look at how to find a solution to this problem of technological unemployment. What exactly can be done, not just by us at an individual level, but also by corporates, by everybody? Basically, it's a very generic, uh, generic few generic points to understand how we can find a solution to technological unemployment. Then finally, we come on to important skill sets that we should be able to develop in order to get in first. And secondly, also, I feel that there are few things that are important, not just in your work life, but also in your personal life. There are small things that you can rectify yourself if you have these small skills. So they're pretty helpful, I would say. And with this, I would come to an end and finally go to the Q&A session. So if you have anything, you can ask. But if in between you are getting stuck somewhere or you are having any doubt, please feel free to stop me and we can take a look at the question. So I will just go to the next slide with this. So understanding the topic was the first thing that we were going to talk about. So first thing, as I told, I'm going to talk about this particular topic with two major perspectives. Firstly, the business transformation, and then the job prospects. Then, of course, technological unemployment and the major skill sets and conclusion. So I've already spoken about it, so I'm going to go to the next slide directly. So now, if you look at major business transformations and the diagram right side towards the right of the screen, these are the major 10 transformations happening, and I'm going to deal a little bit in detail with each of it, with mergers and acquisitions being on top because it is one of the biggest changes happening right now. Instead of going bankrupt, businesses would definitely prefer to partner with other firms and to form ventures, anything to survive. Survival is becoming difficult. People are finding it really difficult to fund in this financial crisis situation, so they are willing to get uh, into negotiations that can help them to survive or sail through this particular situation. Not just COVID is of course something which has just changed everything. But apart from that, we are not going to focus a lot on that. I will bring it everywhere how businesses have done and how my own organization is doing it, because I am living that change and I can relate a lot to it. So I'm going to just give you a glimpse of it as well as and when we go forward with the presentation. So there are 10 major types of business transformations, which we all should try to focus on while considering this topic. So first is mergers and acquisitions, as I told, and the recent example is the merger of Vodafone and Idea to survive through the competition that was thrown at them from Geo. Entire telecom industry was dominated by Jio, and how they survived through instead of going bankrupt at that point of time. So just quoted that small example. Then divestitures and exits. Some of them decide to exit because exiting gives them better, uh, you know, they can get them a better financial goal. It helps them to reach the financial goal in a better manner than simply trying to survive at that point of time. But in divestitures and exits, finally have few rules that actually one should look at before getting into it. And I just want to highlight with each of these business transformations comes the job opportunities. So mergers and acquisitions, it's a pure investment banking industry, and people who are a little interested in it, they can do courses like FRM. They can think of pursuing courses like CFA, which are like high degree certifications, high level certifications, but they can land you directly into jobs that deal with mergers and acquisitions, divestitures, and exits. So these first two business transformations have jobs associated. Like the people who undertake these have an associated job of investment banking, is what I would like to just give you an understanding of. So these are the rules, like, establish a dedicated team of people who would be working on this, and then test for fit and values. There are people who actually do uh, uh, a lot of background verification to understand. They do a lot of calculation, a lot of analysis to see if this particular decision of divesting going to get us more benefit than loss or something like that. So, rule two could be like, test for fit and value. If your value is correctly understood by the person who is going to buy you, because your value, the faster the person who is going to buy you going to understand, they're going to be readily available to pay you higher or whatever is the value for it. So then the third thing could be the plan for de-integration. Of course, you need to plan for it, and then provide a compelling logic for buyers and employees. Now, what does that mean? So this is something which is important, because during these times, a lot of organizational changes happen, and it's very difficult for everybody to take it in a very positive and a sail through manner. So we need to understand and make sure that all the people who are associated and the major stakeholders who would really get impacted by it, they understand that they are going to get some value out of it for it to go smoothly. Then we need to understand or make the buyer understand the time frame that would potentially be taken to get the value out of that divestiture. Okay, so these things are pretty important. And then of course, what is the value unlocked through it, and basically how they can sail through the entire divestiture process. We're not going into much depth of it. So with that, I just come to the next point. That is new products and innovation. This is something that we study in a lot detail in marketing and everything. And you know the phase that is captured over here below your idea generation, that is pre-development, development, and post-development. So idea generation, evaluation, then the concept development, business analysis, product engineering, test marketing, launch. Now each of these stages have a lot of job opportunities, especially when it comes to business analytics, that is marketing analytics. You could give that role a particular name of market research and analytics. You can call it technical analysis, you can call it market analysis, customer analysis, brand valuation, and you know, a lot of names that would be coming in the further slides. So we'll just move on to next. Then the fourth type of business transformation is the new business models. Of course, any company who wants to stay in the market needs a new business model, because with this really fast changing environment, things become redundant pretty soon, and we need to stay at depth with these changes in order to sail through, and we need to stay in the market. At least survival is pretty important. So new business models are always an attractive investment for businesses, and one of the major things that can help your business model could be getting or recruiting good talent, a motivated management who is ready to develop or work on those business models that could be very difficult for the entire organization to adopt. I'll just give you an example. So my organization right now, the work that we do is mainly a workbook based work, a little bit manual, not totally manual, a little manual. But my organization is envisioning to go to a completely automated and a portal based work culture, at least for a practice culture, basically. So it it is pretty difficult right now because there is client work to do. There are other activities to do. We are working remotely. Things are a little difficult. And with all of this, there are employees who need to work on development of that particular technology, because we have to learn, and the managing director decided upon taking the people from within the practice to work on developing that particular technology that can be adopted by the entire practice by the end of third quarter, fourth quarter. Okay, so these are the things that are important. If at all we are resistant to the change, if say our main managing director decided, but the other supporting staff is not really available, the project management office is not ready to evaluate the entire budget for it, or what exactly could be the risks, or what could be the time frame and everything that needs to be done to create or make this project a success, then it's very difficult. These all things cause a lot of hindrance to this particular change that a company or an organization want to adopt. So a new business models require you to recruit a lot of talent first of all, because they are the one who are going to make it happen. Then you need a management which is ready to adopt that new business model, or even think or develop it. Then we come to different strategic focus. When a company is changing its strategy, it needs to be translated really well for your employees to understand and roll it into action further. Because strategy is not just for the top management. A strategy is something that can be translated for everybody, and of course put it in action later on. So three generic, we all know that three generic competitive strategies are cost leadership, differentiation, market segmentation. So this is what we study in detail. I'm not going to go into it. Then something I find pretty interesting is bottleneck liberation, because I'll just tell you what exactly is a bottleneck. So a bottleneck could be any activity, any function, any unit, or anything which is causing an interruption to the flow of the work, and further resulting into delay across the entire production process. Right now, just considering production because it's easy to relate with production, but bottlenecks is a generic term, can be used even in service. There's this particular uh, there's this particular function that is not allowing the projects to flow at a speed, or maybe very smoothly. In those situations, we need to understand why it is happening, because it is causing delay. A particular function, for example, marketing has developed a plan for uh, a new product or something, and now it's pending with finance to release the budget. Now, why is it happening? We don't want the competitor to just go ahead and grab that opportunity and come up with something that may result in us losing customers. We don't want that, right? So we don't want bottlenecks. We don't want people who are delaying the process of a new uh, business model adoption or strategy adoption and anything. The things need to go pretty smoothly from top to bottom or bottom to top. Right now, we know that it's not just a top bottom approach. The change can happen from any direction. That's how evolving things are. That's how open management is to listen to their particular employees or anybody who is ready to give an idea and initiate a change for betterment. So bottleneck liberation means getting rid of these bottlenecks. And I would just say that a process bottleneck in a work stage is when a person is getting more work requests than it can process at its maximum throughput capacity. Now, we know throughput capacity is the capacity or the rate at which a production or a value creating activity happens. So if a person or a process is getting work higher than what they're able to give an output for, then that might be a big bottleneck. Now, there are three ways out of bottleneck. uh, the way you can get out of bottleneck situation. First is more customers. For example, you have enough products, but you did not correctly see that customers would be available for it or not. You could not do a proper analysis for that. Then there is a lot of input that has been given into a particular product development, but there is no output in the form of revenue generation because there are no customers. So one, here you can have more customers, and that's how this bottleneck of reduced throughput can be overcome. The second thing is more suppliers. Of course, sometimes you need suppliers to give you the raw material, you need suppliers to take your products to the final customer, and a lot of things. So a good logistic network is always a good, sometimes organizations end up building a unique business model just because of their amazing logistic or a good network. So these things, of course, help you to overcome the bottleneck. And then more capacity, of course. Now, all these three things, we are talking about more customer supply capacity. Nothing can happen without initial analysis that needs to be done. And to be honest, there are a lot of work opportunities available for such roles, especially into analytics, be it advisory analytics, risk analytics, cybersecurity analytics, financial analytics, market research, web development. Oh, so much analytics is going on. Everything is an analysis, basically. So I just want you to keep it in mind that a lot of things are actually available for us. Then network redesign. Then we need to understand that one size does not fit all, and getting down to the nitty gritty of stock keeping units and getting creative with transportation, creating your own inland ports for you to reduce the cost, because it's a one time cost. And if you know that you are going to have more demand, or you need to create or produce more, then it's always good to go for in-house. Now, there's something which is important: footprint consolidations. First of all, we need to understand what a corporate footprint is. It's a measure of impact that your organization creates across the value chain. Okay, now, majorly when we talk about footprint, we do not talk it in a very positive sense, because it is like, for example, carbon footprinting, corporate footprinting. This is something wherein an organization is creating an impact on, not impact, a negative impact maybe on the entire value chain. It could be in the form of a lot of pollution that it's emitting, or maybe a lot of wastage that is happening, and financial losses that are happening. Anything that is negatively impacting the entire value chain could be a footprint consolidation. And we need to understand and overcome these footprints, especially corporate footprints, wherein organization can understand where hotspots are across the value chain and identify the main drivers, especially towards the environment. That is the things that are causing that particular footprint, especially in terms of environment. Now, there are specialists who do this. footprint evaluation, consolidation. So that's another field of study altogether. And I feel that it won't be that relevant for the audience right now. So I haven't dwelled much deeper into it. Then disaster recovery. Now, disaster could be of any type. This COVID-19 itself is a disaster right now. So, how do you recover from it? And one of the major adoptions that companies are having is the work from home culture. And apparently, my organization realized that our revenues grew compared to what we had pre-COVID. So post-COVID, our revenues have grown quite a lot. One reason could be a reduction of cost on the office and transportation expenses that are incurred by them on it, employees to pick them, drop them, services and offices, the electricity. Those still, of course, the offices are functioning, but other costs and expenses, their team dinner expenses, their local charges, partners are not flying a lot. You need not incur the cost on their airplanes a lot, considering the current shutdown. So, how do you exactly plan on doing that? How do you think of doing that? And how fast you are able to do that? That is more important. Eventually, everybody settles down, but how fast you are able to do, how efficient you're able to do is something pretty important. Then finally, we have last point, which is incremental improvement. This is very important because change could be drastic, but if you are going positive every day a bit, it will not be sudden and painful. So incremental improvement in your human resource, how you are planning and understanding how many people you really need in your function, how you're able to forecast how many more people to hire, or any of these strategies. Then benchmarking, new technology or capital adoption, production, logistics, factory performance, yield. You can go through it. It's pretty, like, it covers everything that needs to be taken care of every day, especially in production. So, having said that, now we know what are the major different business transformations happening. What is digital transformation the crux of everything, or is it different from business transformation? What exactly it is? So, I would say that business transformation is not similar to digital transformation, because digital transformation is the underlying force to all the steps or all the changes that are happening. So it's a support which is leading to all the other transformations. So what exactly is the importance of going digital for a particular organization? This is particular picture which speaks a lot for us, because they say the 95% probability that an accountant or tax expert's job will eventually become automated in few more years. There's 50% chance that fewer auditors will be hired by 2022, because the systems are going to do the work for the companies of auditing, and they would do it much more efficiently. In 3 to 10 years, development of intelligent automated accounting system will be the most impactful force that could be reshaping the industry. So, we are understanding the importance of AI, machine learning, blockchain development, and cloud based engineering, Amazon web services, Google work platforms, creating the collaborative places for people to come and work instead of spending so much on simply buying it. So, a lot of things are going on which are actually impacting businesses and helping them to reduce their costs, especially when they're able to get rid of resources, human resources. So how do we overcome that is something we need to see. So you see this 21 million jobs by 2024. So professional business services is estimated to be the second largest employment sector in the United States. And that is a trend which is going on pretty everywhere, especially if an economy is not primarily an agrarian economy. So ours is still a mix, and we need to uh, still navigate. But we all right now who are sitting in this particular room are actually going to try to be a part of the people who will get into the service industry. So I'll just quickly take you through the importance of going digital. Of course, enrich customer experience, smooth collaboration, database insight, enhance profitability, agility and innovation, improve skill sets, knowledge of the staff, enhance market penetration, informed decision making. This is important, informed decision making, because if you're able to make decisions which are statistically supported and provide an evidence for you to take a particular step in a particular direction or create an environment which could help you to grow and sustain yourself, uh, then there's nothing like that. Then we could say that you have actually used the digital facilities to the fullest and pretty well. So next we come on to the technological unemployment. So like what exactly is happening by adoption of digital, by going digital, basically what exactly is happening? There's a lot of unemployment happening because there's a gap between what people used to do and what people are required to do after digital transformation. So this gap has caused that the gap has been caused due to a lot of unemployment because people could not switch from manual to digital. So we need to bridge that gap, and we'll be seeing how we can bridge that gap. So technological unemployment, we would like to just understand it, and this figure speaks a lot instead of these points. I would like to focus on this more right now. We need to understand this is something which is pretty recent, and it speaks about the future of jobs and its implication on Indian higher education. Because we need to understand one thing, that somewhere we are still a little theoretical in our approach, and somehow we need to put in a little more efforts to be able to walk in a direction that could finally lead us, or make us land into a place where we can provide value, where uh, we can basically translate our skills into actions by creating value for an organization and helping you to sustain a particular changing environment, rapidly evolving business environment especially. So you look at it, so down bottom, this is a job pyramid, and the top most is analysis based decision making. This is a rule based, this is a skill based. So the topmost, that is the analysis basis, it's affected by AI and augmented reality. Rule based is transformed by cloud computing. Then skill based is impacted by industrial automation and robotics. Okay, now these are so that manual jobs can be converted into a little more automated jobs, thereby saving time and effort, and reducing cost in a long run, basically. Then rule based is a routine processing task like bookkeeping, receptionist, travel agent, legal aids. This is something which will not get a lot impacted due to digital transformation, because there are few things for which you need people. For example, you need for legal aids, you need lawyers. We don't still know if systems can really do the work of a lawyer, of a doctor. I mean, I heard that there are machines performing surgery, cardiac surgeries and everything, but still it's a little distant to see it happening in front of our eyes, like, on a large platform. Then we go to expertise driven tasks wherein decision making, planning, and creative work happen. That's the top level. Now we need to understand this. For this particular level, the future of job for Indian is like we are foreseeing a little low susceptibility of automation, which means that we, as Indian higher, the recipients of Indian education system, might find it a little difficult to suscept to this particular automation which is going on. Now, we over here in this particular have high susceptibility to automation because the automation is comparatively lesser and comparatively easier in this particular level. Then third is medium susceptibility to automation, because we are still not able to work on a lot of, not many of us know coding that can automate a lot of redundant job. Not many of us are understanding how to develop models using machine learning so that we can really automate the task and make work easy for us. So, it's not that we are going to have a difficult time. We can adopt to it, but we need an extra effort and time to spend or invest in our skill development so that we can really fall into this, because this is where a lot of gap is existing. This is where we can fill our gap and create value. uh, yeah, so this is what is important over here. So technological unemployment, and this is what can help us see where exactly we need to put in more efforts. Then let's just take a quick look at the future of work. And the future of work is basically going to be impacted by these three things. First of all, the demography and talent shift. We all know how there's a shift in the demographic shift is happening, and we know people are doing a lot of specializations. Like I did not do any specialization specifically during my BCom honors days, but when I went to MBA, I did a little more in depth and understood, okay, this is something that I can use in my work, and went ahead with a little bit of more specialization. So, people are getting specialized. For example, there is a particular certification, a particular graduation only for risk management. There is a diploma, a complete 1 year in depth course for risk management. Now, if we go for a risk management role, people would definitely prefer those who are having a diploma with risk management instead of people who have done a generic study. So, a lot of talent shift is happening towards specialization and skill development, which I feel we need to focus a little more. Of course, basic understanding of how things work is pretty important, but eventually, uh, I'm a strong supporter of skill development so that we can create an impact in a particular place, and we can focus on driving, just getting value or just making a change. So we are going to see increase in retirement, decline in birth rate. We're going to see fewer workers are needed, and there's a lot of burden on those few workers. So you need to have the skill of how you're going to manage your stress, because sometimes we need to work for 13 hours and do a particular job. My day could be from 9 hours to 13 hours, and it has gone to 14 hours as well. You cannot simply tell your senior manager who's sitting in the US that I can't do it, my shift time is over, it's 3 o'clock in the night, I am done. You can't say that. You're working for the US offices, you better give them what they need, and that's how you'll find your way up the ladder if you want to, get into a position where you foresee yourself so that you can create value for yourself and for the organization. Then mass migration from the rural to the urban, of course, youth value works, and all these things are basically going to lead to the future of the work. Then second thing is fifth generation technology shift. This is pretty important, wherein there'll be a greater technological convergence happening. There'll be a lot of disruption, neurological impacts, bioinformational, capitalism, 5G. These are big words. Basically, we need to understand that we are in industry 4.0, and we are going to get into fifth wave of globalization, and a fifth wave of industrialization, which has what we can't even imagine right now. So the fifth wave of globalization would be focusing a lot on financialization, hyperglobalization of trade, knowledge and creative economies, subcontracting. So subcontracting is something which is helping organizations to reduce a lot of costs, because we work on projects wherein we see internationals, subcontractors who are not working in my organization, but there might be a small startup which is working for us to create a particular project or make a particular project happen. So my client needs a particular thing, I don't have that, I outsource it, I have subcontractors who are going to do it. I need not create an in-house full-time facility for that particular skill unless I observe a pattern wherein it's required pretty often. So that's how we can keep a record of how many times a particular client has, or any client has asked for a particular thing. Keep a database which can help us in analyzing that in coming year which new in-house function we would like to create in the organization. Do we want a lot of actuaries? Do we want a lot of data scientists, or we can outsource? Do we want a lot of data engineers, or we can outsource? Do we need robotics automating people, or we can outsource? So based on the data which is developed, which is again which is again a result of this digital transformation, we can make such decisions. So what exactly will be the future of work? Structural and occupational change, we know, and increased flexibility. We already have got 3 days work from home, out of 5 days. I just need to go to office for 2 days. I mean, people don't want to incur a lot of cost on having a lot of furniture in the organization. So you have to share your desks. No desk is owned by anybody. You empty your desk while you're going, and you come and see and sit wherever you want when you come back to the office with your team, of course. So a lot of flexibility is going to happen in a lot of organizations. It's already happening. Then self employment is something which is going to help us sail through all of it. But not everybody has enough capital to invest, or an idea, or everything that is required for getting self employed. New work life balance, lifelong learning, disruptive techniques and technologies, better working condition, social protection, sustainability is something which is it's like the inward right now, whether everything you're doing is sustainable or not. A lot of CSR happens just to show that we are doing things that might be sustainable, which are not going to disturb the environment, help the things to be uh, you know environment friendly and all these things. So that was about what exactly future of work would be, and we can see a lot of translating and happening right now, so it's not that futuristic. Then we would just like to take a quick look at the technological unemployment and what could be the solution to it. So I would just like to read through few of these here, which are pretty important. We need to understand first solution starts from how we are imparting education and skill sets to the students at a point wherein they can learn faster. I don't know if you guys are aware, but abacus has been made mandatory pretty long back. Coding is made mandatory now in schools, especially from what, sixth standard, seventh standard, eighth standard. So schools and the education system is understanding the importance of learning how to code, because that's the way to speak to your system. That's the way, or that's the language through which you can ask your system to do work for you. You need to know its language if you want to make your work easier and fit in, so that you can make work easier for your entire function and organization as well. Then determine how the private sector can drive training. We know that when we are working for organizations wherein a lot of change is expected and they need people who are ready to adapt to the change. And in my organization, all the talent that is doing pretty good over a span of 3 4 years get a chance to go and work in the US office. I mean, everybody would really like that and appreciate that. But for that, they need to clear a particular uh, an exam or something so that you can do it, and then you will be sent to the particular country, you will get trained, and you can finally start working after 1 year. So the entire expenditure is incurred by the organization in this particular case. And the organizations need to do this if they want a particular resource to provide them value, if they want the resources to be ready to adapt to this change, especially technical change, which is happening right now. We can't keep doing book entry and, Excel spreadsheets. We need to move on to a little bit more, which could be better cosmetically, analytically, industrially, and for businesses and for our own skill development. Because trust me, it's very important in the end of the day. If you're doing a work, what skill are you getting from that particular work? That is what is going to make you different from everybody else. That's what's going to make you sellable. So yeah, public private partnerships are pretty important that can uh, help in overcoming this problem of technical unemployment. Then rethinking income, for example, you can see if automation is a cause for unemployment. Then you can have features, or not features, functions like social safety nets, wherein you try to create an organization that can help you to, sorry for that, let me just go back to my presentation over here. Oh God. Sorry guys, I just lost it. Where did my presentation go? Yeah, sorry for the glitch. Just put my phone on airplane. Yeah, so I lost the flower somewhere here. Yeah. So we can look at job creation. Entrepreneurship is something which is really going to bring in a lot of work opportunities for people, and that is a way of actually overcoming this unemployment problem. So entrepreneurship is a pretty good thing that we all could consider, considering we have the available resources for it, of course. Then to innovate how humans can work along with machines. We know that everything can't be done by machines, so we need to look at how to work with machine and not machines working in place of humans. So this is something we need to see, and investment in renewable energy, efficiency, climate adaptation. So all these things are something which are pretty important. And one of the things which are very important is investment in infrastructure and buildings, because that's what governments do on a very large scale to create employment opportunities. Might be a little short run, but the effect it has is a lot. You would have studied in economics what exactly happens with government putting in or spending for infrastructure and buildings. So that could be a way to overcome this unemployment solution, way to overcome this. Now let's just look at the fastest growing jobs globally. And we just need to see that we could expect 8 to 9% of 2030 labor demand. It would be new types of occupations that have never existed before. So we are still trying to look at occupations. I mean, I did not know unless I started using Instagram that digital content creators are paid so much. I mean, I was just browsing and I realized that these digital content creators are paid much more than few of us who are actually working a 9 hours job in an organization. So, how is it happening? It's something that they have developed over a period of time, a lot of followers, YouTube, and Instagram. There's no way you can make a lot of money on Twitter, but if that happens in future, then Twitter could be a great source of income for people who are having a lot of followers and tweeting things that are creating a lot of buzz in the market. So these things could be a new sort of occupation that have not really existed before, which is slowly coming into picture. Blogging is a great field to create a lot of value, to generate a lot of income, and photography, skill-based incomes, skill-based job opportunities and occupation is something which is going to be the norm in future, because not everybody would like to do a lot of uh, in trend things. Not everybody might like it, and which is absolutely fine. So few jobs which are growing globally is, first thing is healthcare providers. This is important considering COVID. It's still growing, and even after things settle down, the fear of COVID-19 is going to be so much that people are this particular industry, healthcare industry, is going to have a lot of importance. It have always had a lot of importance, but it's still going to have it more. Then engineers, scientists, accountants, analysts, IT professionals, tech solution specialists, managers and executive directors or workers whose work cannot be easily replaced by machine. This is the kind of work wherein globally these jobs are going to exist and grow. Educators, this is very important. Teaching is something which needs to have a human touch, and we all know that, we all remember how our teachers really invested a lot in us to learn and grow a lot, and that cannot be done by machine, because machines can give you content, it can't give you value. So that's somewhere we really need educators, and that is growing globally, the importance of teachers. I don't know, in advanced countries, especially in the US, the primary elementary teachers are paid much more than the higher secondary or any, the high school teachers, because that's where the foundation actually builds. So that having said that, we do understand the importance of educators. Then we move to next, that is creative, small growing category of artists, performers, entertainers who will be in demand. And I know all these stand-up comedians. We pay 600, 700 to go and visit their shows, a theater, all these artists who are actually performing. That is a great field that people are a little coy to adopt, but is gonna grow a lot in future. Also, one reason is when people are going to have jobs into automation, IT, and all these things, especially in places wherein a lot of IT sector is developing, they'll have a higher disposable income for themselves to spend in entertainment, and that's where that particular field or area grows. Uh, like the creative field grows, and a lot of employment is created over there. Then statisticians and mathematicians. This is something very important because a lot of machine learning models, neural networks are based on your statistical understanding. So I would suggest, please, whatever you do in future, make it a point to have a basic statistical understanding, how a linear regression work, how to understand you know how the calculation of ANOVA goes, what is normal distribution. These might not, I'm not sure if these are very familiar to you, but these might be if you would be going to go for higher studies. And if you are going, make it a point. Even if you're not going, internet has a lot of content that you can just consider. Statistics is something that we all should know. Few things like law, statistics, economics will evolve. They will never get out of our lives, or just we cannot get rid of it. This is going to stay. So future, no matter what it is, statistics, economics, and law are the three things which are going to be there. So these three fields are evergreen if somebody is going to choose, because BBA plus LLB is a great combination if anybody is planning to go for higher studies, especially corporate laws. Coming to this particular slide, these are few jobs that I really found, and what could be the title if you're going to get into these jobs, and the skills that you might need, the education of the people who are getting into these jobs, and the recent growth rate that these particular jobs have seen. So let's just go one by one. I guess I have 5 more minutes. I'm not sure. I'll just try to walk us through it. So, frontline economic e-commerce worker, title could be driver, supply chain associate, package handler. Skills are time management, customer service, leadership. Education, 75% have bachelor's degree, and the growth is 73% year over year. Because of e-commerce, there are a lot of uh, uh, a lot of growth in the people who need to take the product from the supplier to the end customer while we are sitting at home and ordering on Amazon, Myntra, Flipkart, whatever it is. There's somebody who's coming in, handing it over to us, right? Somebody who is delivering it. So frontline e-commerce workers are the ones who actually do it, and the growth is gonna be even the more high in the future with everything going online. Then loan and mortgage expert. Everybody needs a good lifestyle. Everybody needs to grow. Everybody needs to get educated. Everybody needs a house. People are needing car. They might not be having a disposable income in hand then and there itself. But loan and mortgage experts are the people who actually are going to see a lot of, you're going to see a lot of increase in this particular job, because as I said, everybody is having a lot of desires, especially with the changing lifestyle and our demographic setup. People are willing to take loan and repay slowly instead of struggling, and you know so that is going to have an impact. Now, what could be the title? Underwriters, mortgage loan officer, escrow officer, loan closers. Skills: risk management, customer service, credit analysis. Now, this is something which you will see a lot in demand, especially credit analysis is a lot in demand if you're planning to join a bank. Then 86% of hires have a bachelor's degree or higher. So basically, we all, or you all sitting over here, are completely eligible to get into jobs like this. You just need to type it on internet or LinkedIn or Glassdoor and see where exactly the job opportunities are available. If there is a walk-in interview, go with your resume. If you have a particular certificate that can give you an edge over the others, go for a walk-in. Try to explore, overcome the fear, and I'm sure we would learn in the end of the day. Then, yeah, the recent growth is hiring for these in 2020 has increased nearly 59% from 2019. And I, as per my understanding and reading, can suggest that it would grow further a little in future. Then business development and sales. Now, business development officers is a role which is pretty much in demand because there's a lot of startups coming up and a lot of entrepreneurship, you know, uh, catching fire in the market and just creating a great opportunity. So they need people who can help their business to develop. So who exactly those people would be in the work environment? Those would be sales consultants, sales operations assistant, inbound sales specialists, strategic advisors. And the skills that they would require is customer retention, sales process, team building. Education, 92% have bachelor's degree or higher. Recent growth is 45% between 2020 and 19. And with the increasing trend of entrepreneurship, it might increase further. So you could consider this is a very lucrative career opportunity. Sales is a bit slow initially, but as you grow up, as you continue to climb up the ladder, it becomes better, especially when sales, if you are working in a major main unit where the production is happening, for example, it would always be good if you could do a supporting certification like a cost and works accountant or something like that, because that is going to help you climb up the ladder a little faster and understand the entire way you can reduce the cost in that particular production unit. That is pretty important, and the roles for that are a lot. There's a lot of demand for cost and works accountants as well, you might be aware. Then workplace diversity experts. Now, this is something that comes at a little higher level. That is manager, diversity officer, head of diversity, diversity coordinator. Now, it's not necessary that you might find this role specifically outright stated. It might be a little rare because people consider taking experienced professionals for this. So we might not really find it very readily available for us right now. So we would have skills like community outreach, teaching, organization development, and education. 99% have a bachelor's or higher, and hiring for these roles increased more than 90% since 2019. We can understand workplace diversity. I'm working for the US offices, and we need to go through a particular training that can help us understand what could be the expectations if you want to work, what are the ways in which they work. They need to understand how they can reach out to us, and there's a lot of things that happen when you are actually working in an environment wherein it's not just cross state but cross continent also. So you need to just be there for people to help overcome that uh, gap. Then digital marketing professionals, digital marketing specialist, social media manager, marketing representative, search engine optimization specialist. This last search engine optimization specialist is growing. If somebody is interested in marketing, please make it a point to go in depth in this. Especially, it's one of the most important parts of digital marketing. So you will of course come through it. But if somebody interested in this in MBA in marketing, then trust me, it's a very green field for you, a green pasture that you can just walk onto. Then the skills needed: product marketing, digital strategy, brand management, and the education. 94% have higher than bachelor's and higher. And hiring for digital marketing grew nearly 33%. Then you have educational professionals, and this is we all know: lesson planning, time management, differentiated instruction, how you are actually conveying your particular, how you're able to translate the little complicated bookish knowledge and able to impart it to the students in a way that they can understand and relate it to practical scenario is something which is very important. Then the title could be tech assistant, elementary school teacher, mathematics tutor, curriculum developer. Curriculum developer, there are a lot of posts available, but mostly the universities and institute prefer calling for a meeting and trying to develop it within the HODs and everybody. But there are roles for curriculum developers as well. And hiring, of course, increased more than 20% between 2019 and 2020. The specialized engineers, this is growing and it's gonna grow in future as well. And there are courses, certifications, Udemy, Pay, and Coursera, and everywhere where you can learn how to develop, how to be a web developer, how to develop a game, because gaming industry is also very lucrative. I mean, we do stop our kids from playing games, but honestly, if they're able to understand how to develop games, they can make a lot of money for themselves in a pretty early stage. But of course, it might cost them a little bit of health. But this is pretty lucrative, is what I can say. Then the skills could be program management, web development, distributed systems, education. 93% have higher than bachelors and bachelors. Then hiring for these engineering roles grew nearly 25% between 2019 and 2020. I also wanted to reinforce that it will grow more than 25. There is a lot of opportunity and job roles which needs to be filled by people who are skilled enough, because there are articles on web which speak articles speak, and a lot of employers suggest that they have a lot of job opportunities, but they don't have skills to match those job opportunities. So you might like to go back and see what is the skill that they are needing. I will also discuss in slides later. Data science specialist. This is something that I am trying to develop in myself personally. I could not learn a lot of coding or technical skills, so I am trying to develop this data science and business analytics skill in myself, which will help me to get the title as a data scientist, data science specialist, data management analyst, or business analyst, a business engineer, or something like that. Skills: statistical modeling, data visualization. And education, 98% have a bachelor's degree or higher, and hiring for these roles grew nearly to 46% since 2019, and it's gonna grow further. It's gonna compoundedly grow. So you can take few things from over here if you are able to, and you will not question your investment in these, because these are gonna grow in future. Then, just to look at these important skills, I'm not going to go in depth, but I have stated, you can just see it pretty quick over here. These are the skills. So first and foremost, starting with soft and hard skills. So soft skills, these are important, and these majorly develop uh, in the courses like BBA, management, all the other courses as well. But it is a major part of the curriculum in courses that we are doing. And a BBA is a very good course. You are pretty employable. People are needing it, and if you have a little bit of technical skills, then it could be really great for you. And if you do not have, there's no issue. You can always invest yourself. There are a lot of YouTube videos available wherein you don't really have to pay. You can watch and learn it by yourself. That is something that one skill of self learning is something which will take you miles. It will just help you to grow a lot more than those who are not able to learn, self learn. So effective communication, teamwork, responsibility, creativity, it's developed over a period of time. Problem solving, leadership, extroversion, to be able to say what you think you need to convey. Of course, there's a way of conveying, which is pretty important. People skill, openness, adaptability. This is what businesses need a lot. Then hard skills are something that are developed through technical knowledge or training. So machinery skills, software skills, tools, languages, coding languages, techniques, uh, mathematics, accounting and bookkeeping, and any task which requires you to have a particular skill. Then you have marketing skill, management skill, sales skill. I guess I'm going to share this. You can take a look at it. I'll share it with you. But most important marketing skills is HTML, email marketing, web scraping. Pretty important. Data and web analysis, project campaign management, search engine and keyword optimization, used a lot by e-commerce industries, e-commerce companies, and B2B market, creativity, copywriting, storytelling, sales, brand management is uh, there's a lot of growth in this if you're going into luxury brand management, because they really require a lot of brand management. Then management skills, Six Sigma. Oh God, I cannot tell you how much Six Sigma is growing in the market right now. There are Scrum managers, there are Six Sigma green belt, yellow belt, black belt people who are having roles in organization, and they are contributing a lot and growing continuously. Uh, these are pretty theoretical, and I these are good for books, but I'm just talking about skills right now. So emotional intelligence is something that we really need a lot. Uh, Business development, strategic management comes at the management level a little higher, which you learn in an organization over a period of time as you work. Proposal writing is pretty important, and companies hire people specifically to write the proposal and their legal statements of works that are the commencing point of a project, legally commencing point of a project. So this is a good role. Problem solving, innovation, charisma. Okay, yeah. Then you come to sales skill, wherein social media and digital communication is pretty important. I guess this is the most important in this entire box over here. And coming to accounting and finance skill, I don't know how many of you are really into finance over here, but if you would like to get into finance, then please learn advanced Excel. There are other things which are more needed right now, but Excel is always always welcomed. If you know advanced Excel, you can do a lot of basic exploratory data analysis for your company, create charts, pivots, and analysis, which might drive a lot of insights. Enterprise ERP. ERP is growing, and this for ERP, you have courses that are provided by SAP. SAP has a lot of packages which help you to get trained on various levels of enterprise resource planning, big data analysis, SQL, cognitive analytics, visual basic, numerical competence, attention to detail. So, if anybody is interested in financial skill, if you could develop these skills, it will help you a lot to go really ahead in your career. These are welcome. These will reap a lot in future if you could invest in these. So education skills, updated curriculum knowledge. You need to know what is the latest requirement from, for example, your BBA course. You are doing a course. What is the curriculum for other universities, and is there something that you might like to update yourself on, learn, or self learning is the best. The research and data analysis, so many job opportunities over here, so many. So whatever project you do, small project, make it a point to put in a pinch of statistics in that, or try to understand how I can make it visually a little more appealing. How can I use advanced Excel in that? Can I try to use a little bit of technology in it? How can I make it a little more technology driven? How can I make it a little more different analytically? What are the results I'm getting? If you could invest a little bit more time in translating your project to something that could provide you insights, then you might be moving into a direction wherein you can work on projects that involve billions of money and big clients, for which you would be doing this research and data analysis. Very important, guys. You might like to consider educational platforms. So when I talk about self learning is made easier by platforms like eLearn, Udemy, Coursera, etc. And during festivities, there's a lot of discount on the courses. You might get a very good advanced Excel or a Python course for 500 rupees, which might be 2,500, 3,000 right now. So you can always take an advantage and wait for a good festival or any discount on these sites. It's pretty good. Then stress management, patience, critical thinking. This is important. You'll have to sit and work for 30, 14 hours. You need to have patience. And then coming to web development skills. Now, I'm not sure how many of us are really interested in these, but if you are, you can just take a look at these. I guess we are not a lot into web development, but if anybody likes photography or picture editing, there is a lot of scope for you, especially when it comes to Adobe, Photoshop, and InDesign. You can get a little bit of understanding of it by doing a course on Udemy. Udemy has a course on Adobe Photoshop. Even on photography, it has a course. It has a course on iPhone photography. It has a course on everything, basically. So you can just take a look and see if you might develop an interest towards it, if you want to take it as a career. Because, guys, you need to understand that even your creative energy can help you to make money, and there's nothing like it. You're like living every day to the best if you're doing something that you really love to do. Then business analytics, the in thing that we were talking, SQL, a must. Programming language, R, Python, Scala, MATLAB. Now, this is for the people who are interested in going to business analytics. If you do not know and if you're not willing to go into business analytics, it's okay. You can uh, uh, you can think of skipping it, but all I would suggest is at least everybody please do an advanced Excel course. That is something that will add a lot of value to your resume. Then Stata, SPSS, SAS, data mapping, big tools, Microsoft Visio, machine learning. These are a little more into for the people who would like to get into business analytics. Designing skill. There are a lot of visual people need things that look very beautiful. So you might be interested in roles that can help companies to create visually appealing dashboards. You can, apart from Excel, of course, Excel is good. If you want, you can also do a certification in Tableau or Power BI. There are roles that require people to know Tableau really well. Tableau is a particular software that helps you to create real time dashboards wherein you can get a very visually appealing dashboard for a particular company and things like that. Then basic technical skills. I would say basic technical skills, please put a lot of focus to it and understand if you could develop these, you can really basically we have gone one step ahead of everybody else who might not be having this. Microsoft Office package, that is Word, Excel, Access, Publisher, Outlook, PowerPoint. Filing and paper management, data entry. If you're able to make your system do that task for you, it would be perfect. Bookkeeping through Excel or TurboTax, research and data analysis, basic knowledge of user interface communication, technical writing, cloud networking, and file sharing. I would just like to reinforce that the Amazon Web Services and the cloud-based services, these do not require you to have a lot of Python or coding understanding. You can always get into it with a fresh appeal and try to get into roles because there are specific roles for AWS and cloud computing. So with that, I've discussed all these skills and just like to conclude that definitely markets will be competitive and you need to have one major skill, one major drive, which is self-learn, and that can take you really far. So just like to end with that, and all the best to everybody. I hope it could give you some insights. Thank you. Does anybody have any question? You can just ask me if you have any question, and we can use it. So is somebody speaking? Not able to hear.
Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am.
Oh, no problem. You're most welcome. So anybody has any questions, or we can just that was my presentation.
Ma'am, can you tell the students what are the skills they need to possess at the entry level? How should they prepare themselves for the opportunity?
Yes, definitely. So
Because after college, they join, what are all the entry level skills they must have, or what should they develop?
as I spoke about in my presentation, basic technical skills, whatever I mentioned as a part of basic technical skills, is something that they might like to have for an entry level job. So Microsoft Office package, Word, Excel, Access, Publisher, Outlook, PowerPoint, and it'll be good if you could do some courses on advanced Excel, learn to create macros, learn to create pivot tables, and if somebody wants to go for specific roles, Tableau, but entry level, please learn Excel. I tell this to everybody because my role required me to learn a lot of Excel, and I had to do it after getting into my job. So learn a lot of Excel. Please learn how to use the entire Microsoft package, especially Outlook and Access, if you could. And if your role, it depends on the role that you are applying, but generically speaking, advanced Excel always helps, always. So you could invest in that, and all you could do Power BI. It's simple basics of Power BI, so that you can put it on your resume and say, I know how to work on Power BI. That is an add-on for an entry level, is what I feel.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Now Vidya Lakshmi will propose the vote of thanks. Vidya Lakshmi.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to one and all present here. On behalf of Sri Krishnaswamy College for Women, I extend a hearty vote of thanks to our guest speaker, Ms. Kanchan Kumar, Engagement Financial Advisor, Deloitte US Offices, for gracing today's webinar program and has spared time from her busier schedule to grace this occasion. Today, we had an opportunity to get your thoughts, ma'am, and this will surely help us in our future, ma'am. And I express my sincere gratitude to our management, Principal Dr. Geeta Rani ma'am, and our Dean, Dr. Revati ma'am, and HOD of BBA Department, Dr. Deepa ma'am, and HOD of MA HRM Department, Dr. Kirti Chetty ma'am, and all the department staff and amicable students for making this program successful. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kanchan.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. I will
Yeah,
chat. Thank you.
yeah, sure. I'll drop off. So I'll drop off
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the call now. Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. All the best. Bye bye.
Bye.